is up, everyone, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Nordic And Marc podcast. I am your host at Nordic97 on TikTok and Nordic97 pretty much everywhere. I'm joined with Marcusi, aka Marcusi _ on TikTok. How are you doing today, Marcus?
I'm all right. I'm a little. Listen, the lighting, it's dark for a reason. You need to see my face. And
yeah, this is like you've been in like 3 locations for all.
I move around. I like to move around. Okay, I like to move around and have different spots. Today we're in the bedroom.
I mean, I never move. I just change my jersey and hat. But anyways, we have a big variety of topics, and we're gonna start off with something that Marcus found on TikTok. Now we're gonna pause the recording just so we're gonna play the video on video for YouTube, and it'll play the audio on Spotify or whatever podcast platform you're listening to.
Right.
So we're gonna pause this and we'll get
The team doesn't just luck its way to the Final Four in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but the Montreal Canadiens are proving that luck matters a lot more than any of us want to admit. Exhibit A, in the first round, after playing just 2 minutes and 53 seconds in Game 1, Leafs star center John Tavares was stretchered off the ice and missed the remainder of the series with a concussion and knee injury. The Habs came back from 3-1 down to beat the Leafs in 7 games. Exhibit B, in the second round, Jets leading scorer and #1 center Mark Scheifele was suspended 4 games for a massive hit on Habs forward Jake Evans in Game 1. The Habs proceeded to sweep the Jets and move on to the Final Four. But then in the third round, Vegas beat Montreal 4-1 in Game 1, and I sent out this tweet after the game. A Montreal Canadiens playoff opponent has finally escaped Game 1 with a win and without losing one of its top 2 centers. But not so fast. Exhibit C, right before Game 2, Golden Knights #1 center Chandler Stevenson was a late scratch with an upper body injury. The same game, Habs #1 defenseman Jeff Petrie made his return to the lineup after missing time with a hand injury. So for the third straight series, Montreal's opponent has lost one of its top 2 centers after 1 game. The 1993 Habs won 10 straight overtime games on their way to the Stanley Cup, so none of us should be surprised by the sorcery we've seen in 2021. But now, despite being partially vaccinated, Canadiens head coach Dominic Ducharme has tested positive for COVID-19 before Game 3 and now has to isolate from the team. The craziness never ends. Who do you think is going to advance to the Stanley Cup final, Vegas or Montreal? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Okay, we're back. So for the people who are deaf and didn't listen to the video, so basically he said that the Montreal Canadiens are getting a lot of luck in these playoffs. And look, that's not true at all. Because first off, in the first round, Tavares got injured in Game 1. It's not like he got injured. Yeah. It's not like he got injured in Game 4 where they were
when they were up 3-1.
Yeah.
If they were up 3-1, by the way.
If he got injured in Game 4, then maybe you can make that argument. And I mean, you still can make the argument. If Tavares was in here, you still would have won. But no, you were up 3-1 in the series without Tavares.
Plus, you guys have this is the best Maple Leaf squad we've seen in what, 10 years? 10 years?
In a while, yeah. And the depth is unbelievable with this team.
Also, if I may say, not in a single category does Tavares lead in anything. I'm just saying he doesn't lead in a single category for the Maple Leaf stats. He doesn't. Exactly. It's all he had 19 goals, 31 assists this season, but you still have Marner, Matthews, Nylander, you still have Hyman, all these guys. You are so deep. Losing Tavares should not be a problem. You have guys who can step in.
And sure, maybe Tavares with the leadership role, because look, he is the captain of the team. And look, being there without your captain is a bit different. Okay, I get it.
Unless you're in New York. The Islanders have lost. I'm going to say this. The Islanders lost Anders Lee. Look at where they are.
And look at where they are. Tampa. Stamkos was out for pretty much the entire playoffs. And look, they won the Stanley Cup. So
I think, Jesus, motorcycles. I just think this, right, Evan? I think this is a stupid excuse. This is a guy who is making an excuse, and we obviously know he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I think he is making another excuse for why the Canadiens are playing team hockey. They're playing team hockey at the right time. They didn't really have that momentum throughout the season. Toffoli was the only guy I saw like getting on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Montreal's playing like a team. They've figured out their stuff. They know what they're doing. Everybody's on board. And of course, Carey Price is playing awesome too.
Yeah. And then
I think this is bogus.
yeah,
Bogus.
it's stupid because like like I said, if he got injured in game 4, then you can make the argument. But no, he got injured in game 1. Toronto, they won 3 games after that game. So and then
It's
you look at the Jets versus Habs with Mark Scheifele and the Evans. That thing is the NHL's own fault, or it's Mark Scheifele's own fault that he got suspended. It's not the Habs.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone for the hit. He could have poked that easily. He could have poked that so easily and saved the goal. You probably could have come down the ice and most likely could have scored, but you didn't.
Exactly.
You let your anger out. You do not let your anger out, especially that close of a game when you could have poked it. You could have poked it. You went for the hit. Montreal didn't get lucky on that. They're playing like a team. And if you lose your star player, it's not the end of the world. This is hockey. This isn't basketball. You have 20 guys on your team. And if you have guys who can fill in the role like the Jets and the Leafs do, shouldn't be an issue, should it?
Yeah. And and they handled the Jets pretty dang well. And we don't know if Scheifele never got suspended or Scheifele never laid that hit. If the Habs
anything would have happened differently.
Exactly. But you know what? I think with the way the Habs were playing, they may not have swept the Jets, but I still think they were going to win, in my opinion. And then in round 3, look, Chandler Stevenson's underrated. He's great, and he's a great first, second line center, but he's not the game changer for this team.
Exactly. You have guys who can step in.
Now it's tied 2-2.
They have guys who can step in.
Exactly.
Vegas has guys who can step in. Montreal's not having it easy. They're playing tough opponents. I'm not going to lie to you. Nobody in the NHL is easy. Nobody in the NHL is easy.
Not even Buffalo or Detroit. Every team is hard to face.
So, I mean, I think this is just complete bogus, and you're just trying to find excuses so Toronto doesn't take the fall. We're going to slander the Maple Leafs no matter what. That should have been your series in the bag. But Montreal figured you guys out way too easily. You guys did not play like a team. Oh, Hyman this. Oh, Marner that. Shut up. Next topic. Let's go.
Exactly. And we will convert this topic into the Montreal Canadiens versus Vegas Golden Knights series, which last night game 2 occurred and Nicolas Waugh scored the game 2 overtime winner to win the game by a score of 2-1. So first off, I feel like the series, it's been way more competitive than people might have expected. People were saying that, if the Canadiens get swept or get smoked by the Golden Knights, the North Division sucks. And I still don't believe that. I don't believe the North Division sucks. Because, look, I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs. And the fact that, it's Toronto, first off. They'll lose however way they can. And Winnipeg, they've only made the conference finals once, maybe. So, yeah. And I mean, Vegas, we can all talk about how spoiled they are with, I mean, Marcus has vocally said it even on this podcast about how much he hates them. And,
all 4 of these teams I don't like, but the team I least like is Vegas. But I think that this series, Montreal has been beating out Vegas. Vegas is huge. And as I said before, they're big. But Montreal, they're just getting it at the right time. They just wait for the guy to poke his head out and they just strike. It's amazing how they do it. They will wear you the F out. And they do. Okay. Vegas sometimes can't keep up with them. Montreal's just playing good team hockey. Vegas is also playing good team hockey. I think Robin Leonard last night stepped up really well for that last game where he played, and it was Colorado in game 1. That was not his fault entirely, but I think it's definitely a confidence booster that he turned this one around, and he was locked down. The guy is huge. I love Robin Leonard. He's huge. The guy steps up, and he's funny on social media. But in general, Vegas played that game the way they needed to, and this series is probably going to 7.
Honestly, I don't even know who wins this. If you asked me at the beginning, I would have said Vegas. If you asked me after game 3, I would have said Montreal, but now I don't even know anymore.
We can't tell.
But it's just like, it just seems like these teams, although it doesn't feel like it feels like they're on the same level of competition. And like, I feel
Even
like,
though we never thought they would.
and honestly, like, I'll say the same thing about the Tampa New York series. I feel like whoever wins this series, I feel like will probably win the cup. I don't know. Well, unless they face Tampa, but if, like, you know what I mean. It's just
Any
like,
team honestly can win this.
I don't know. Like, every team can. It's
So tough with
Crazy.
hockey. It's so tough with the NHL.
mhm.
There's a ton of talk about the refereeing, and Vegas is getting the refs. Listen, everybody gets the refs benefit of it. Okay, the refs miss calls all the time. Trust me. I was angry with the missed calls some of the Bruins got, but I mean, let's be honest. When the Bruins were playing the Islanders, they let loose a little and they were taking some penalties. I just think in general, you're just gonna have bad officiating all around, no matter what series it is. And it's not there's been a lot of talk. You shouldn't be using it as an excuse. I think it's valid to say, like, oh, the referees missed some calls, because there could be some power plays that could have occurred where you could have scored. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
But the refs can't call everything. They're not.
Yeah,
perfect.
they don't have 360 vision. Remember, they don't have a head on a swivel all the time.
And,
They
like,
can only see what they're looking at.
They can't call everything, but there were some calls, like, what was it? Was it game 3 where Corey Perry got, like,
Yes.
sticked
Yes.
by Marchessault and there was no call? Like, those are the calls you should call. If you miss a tripping call every now and then, okay, I get it. It happens. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. But look,
He's
you
bleeding.
can't miss something like that.
He was bleeding.
Exactly.
I swear.
That's a 4-minute penalty.
Minor or major, it doesn't matter. It's
A
still
minor.
4 minutes. in
You
the
know what I
box.
mean. But yeah, I think that personally, Tuesday's game 5, right?
Yes.
Tonight's game 5. Yeah.
Tonight's
So
Tampa.
I just don't know. I really don't know who wins that series. And it's probably going to go to 7, unless if Montreal wins game 5, then it could go 6, because those fans in Montreal, man,
They're loud
that
as
place
they're
is
loud as
insane.
hell.
I mean, I can't box out Vegas's fans either, because Vegas has been, they were
Loud.
insane. And in the second, I mean, compared to Tampa, anything's loud compared to Tampa. But in the second round against Colorado, it was crazy in that arena. So, is that it for Vegas and Montreal?
Yeah. Let's move on to the other series.
All right. So, we got some headlines here. Anton Bleed has re-signed with the Boston Bruins for 1 year, $750K. Next up, you have Rod Brindamore won the Jack Adams Trophy since we last talked. It's good. He was a great coach for the Hurricanes. This made me very happy to see. Liam Kirk signed a 3-year entry-level contract with not the Boston Bruins, with the Arizona Coyotes. I love to see it. Had 7 goals with Great Britain. It's been very good for the Coyotes with no depth on the roster. Alexander Barkov won the Selke Trophy out of Patrice Bergeron and Mark Stone. Pretty good to see, especially an underrated player like him. Jacob Slavin won the Lady Byng Trophy. Not surprising, because he's had history with good sportsmanship. And then Blake Como has re-signed with the Dallas Stars for a 1-year, $1 million contract. We know someone who would like that. And I thought I'd throw this in here because this happened a couple hours ago. Like to give my condolences out to the family of Tom Curvers, who was a New York Islanders player for a little bit. He passed away at the age of 58 after a 2-year-long battle with lung cancer. So prayers go out to him and his family. But yeah, those are the headlines. And now we're going to get into the New York Islanders versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay, today we're back again to talk about the next series. I'm not good with transitions, okay? I was
worry
never
about
good
it.
with that. If you watch my YouTube videos, you know I suck. But anyways, we're moving on to talk about the round 3 series between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders. Currently, it is tied 2-2. And I feel like the Islanders are going to win the series just because of past experiences. Because Tampa, they won Game 3. Okay, we all know they won Game 3, but the Islanders won Game 4. And the last 2 times, we'll get in the Ryan Pulock. The last 2 times that the Islanders won Game 4, they were down 2-1 in the series against the Bruins and the Pens, and they won in 6. So you can't help but think, is that going to happen again?
Well, I think, past occurrences come down to like, oh, is it a luck thing? Is it a meant to be thing? I'm not really the type of guy to go with luck, but I see what you're saying when New York winning the series. This series is up for grabs. Both teams have a shot at it. But I think if we're going to talk about a momentum shift going into these last 3 games, that Pulock block at the end of the game, Pulock block, you could say if McDonough had a better shot, it probably would have gone in. But I mean, still though, that was sacrificial. That block was like, oh my God. He had this shot. He had Varlamov out at the face-off dot. And I think that just going into Game 5, the Islanders, I mean, like, even though it was a crappy shot and, in my opinion, an easy block, still, the locker room's going to be like, oh, that was a good block. Trust me. You and I have been in locker room atmosphere. Sorry. We've been in locker room atmosphere. Something as little as that can shift the mood.
Oh, yeah. And look, I feel like for Tampa, not even for the Islanders, for Game 5 is so important for Tampa. They have to win. Like, that's just one of the games where they just have to win. Because if they lose, they're done. They're screwed.
They have to go back.
I don't see them winning Game 6. I don't see them winning 2 straight. No way. And I just feel like, it just feels like they have to win. Because if the Islanders win, boom. Islanders versus whoever in the Stanley Cup Finals, it feels like.
They will have to go back to a packed barn, a packed group, or should I say a packed army of 12,000 plus New Yorkers. New Yorkers.
Yep.
And we're not just talking any New Yorkers. We're talking Long Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
Long Islanders. They don't screw around. They will blow out their esophagus just to make sure the Islanders know they're there. And they rally behind their home fans. Tampa, they have to have the clappers. They have to have the clappers, or else there's no noise in that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to a home advantage. Tampa needs to take advantage of home ice advantage. And going down to the play, it all comes down to the defense.
Mm-hmm.
We both know how the offenses can work. And if Varlamov's been on his toes, and the Islanders have created so many opportunities, there have been so many chances, and Vasilevsky's been on his toes. Varlamov's been on his toes. It comes down to how the defense is going to play.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
If the defense falls apart, that could change how the series tilts. And that's the other thing, too. If Tampa wins Game 5, okay, you're going back to Long Island for Game 6. You've handled it before. But if the New York wins Game 5, you're going back to those New Yorkers. Like you said, it's going to be very freaking hard.
You're on your heels. Your back's against the wall.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that you need to force a Game 7 against the team who plays the most boring style of hockey and it works. I don't
know how this series is going to turn out, because we all think Tampa's the favorite because they have a stacked team, but New York hasn't slowed down. This is a different team from last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different team, and different. Is it a different coach? Yes, it is. No, it's the same coach.
No, it's the same coach.
This team is ready. This team is ready for that next step. I think, I'm going to be honest, Everyone has Tampa as their favorites, but I think the Islanders are ready for the next step. I think this is the year that the drive for 5 happens. If not, I don't see them doing it again because I think this is the year. This is the year the Islanders finally buckle down and go all the way because they have the guys to do it. They have the guys to do it. Tampa Bay is going to suck after this year. They will not be the same. They will not be the same. But I'm just saying the Islanders, this is the chance to go for 5. You've been saying drive for 5 for the last 40 plus effing years. Do it now.
Yep. And look, as much as I dislike the Islanders because of what they did to the Flyers, and I mean, I'm sure you aren't the biggest Islanders fan in the world because of.
I'm not the biggest fan of Islanders fans.
Well,
the team is fine.
Me too. I don't really have a problem with the team. Their fans can be pretty bad. But you know what? I feel like this is the year for them. Absolutely. So is that it? Are we done with the playoff series?
Sure, we can move on.
All right. We're on to some things that I haven't told you about because you know what? I like doing this. This is fun.
Surprising me.
So let me go to my script here real quick. So we all know there's going to be a lot of trades after the Stanley Cup Finals occur, whether it's Seth Jones, Sam Reinhart, Rasmus Ristolainen. I mean, Zach Hyman could even be in the conversation. You have a ton of players who will be moved, potentially get traded. One of those players, and I mean, we're going to discuss 2 players. Jack Eichel. The trades have been heating up, and I've been hearing some people saying, I'm hearing days before an Eichel trade, not weeks, days before Jack Eichel trade. So you know what? It can happen any day now. It can happen today. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen.
It could happen right now.
Week. Exactly. It can happen. It could happen anytime. We have no idea when it's coming.
We're shaking looking on Twitter.
Just no idea. I'm looking at Twitter right now. I don't see anything.
Oh.
But you know what? If there's any team that you think they're going to go to, Marcus, let me know your prediction. Who do you think? You might want to think about.
I think it's going to be a match made in heaven. The hockey gods will send him. There's been a lot of teams out there that are looking for him, but I think he might go to Los Angeles. I think because there are people who are like, why are you defending Bettman so much? Bettman this, he's a great commissioner. He's grown the game. He will want hockey back in Cali. He will want, the Kings are a big market. Send a superstar. Who cares about Buffalo? You want to send a superstar to Los Angeles. Trade him, Buffalo. Here, take a little money. Trade him to Los Angeles. He will go there. It'll be, I don't know, it'll be like a Gretzky correlation. No, it's not going to be a Gretzky correlation, but still. I bet you there's only one reason Gretzky went to Los Angeles. Money. Where's Jack Eichel going to go? Los Angeles for money. I don't see him going anywhere else. You could send him to New York. New York doesn't want him. There's no way they're going to pay for that contract. I wasn't prepared for you to pull this on me.
I feel like with their owner, they probably will get pressed to at least try and push for Jack Eichel. But look, I've seen like so many people say, "Oh, Jack Eichel to New York." Imagine Panarin, Zibanejad, and Eichel. Yes, that line would be freaking insane. That would be one of the best lines in hockey for like 10 years. But do you realize what they would have to give up?
Oh my God, they would have to give up either Kakko.
Lafreniere and/or Kakko, and definitely one of the 2 goalies is going back the other way.
Oh yeah, no, because you're gonna want to have a starting piece. I saw a thing where it was trade him to the Kraken for the 2nd pick, and there's no way the Kraken would give up the 2nd pick, especially with this draft coming up. This draft is deep as hell. Anybody you take is probably a superstar. Yeah. The Kings have 20 million projected in cap space according to Cap Friendly. I'm looking at it right now. Who do you think they're going for? I think just because of like destiny's sake, I think he's going to go to the City Angels.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Columbus. However the hell they would pull that off. But I feel like with how they've been pushing it just seems like that could possibly happen. And then I've heard
Columbus is hitting the reset button.
and then you know what? I've heard the Arizona Coyotes are in on him.
What?
The Arizona Coyotes, my second favorite team, the Arizona Coyotes, are in on a superstar in Jack Eichel. Now, look, part of me and I'm just gonna go Coyotes fan bias for a second. Part of me wants them to get Eichel because look at how our team would be. We need a guy like Eichel. But part of me
would you
isn't
think,
like that.
hold on. Here's the thing though. Would you think that do you think it would come out to be like a Taylor Hall situation where you play good, but you come out in the no, that's a bad question. I was gonna ask, like, would you think the Coyotes would get further than they got with Taylor Hall? Here's the thing with the Coyotes. Any team he goes to, he wants to at least make it to the playoffs. He hasn't made it to the playoffs in the 6 years he's been with Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't. So he'll be fine with even making the first round. He doesn't care. I don't think he will care. Arizona's a good spot. Their projected caps. Oh my God, Arizona could afford him.
Yeah, I mean, they're
31
revamping. Well, the thing is with the Coyotes, they're revamping their entire blue line right now. And, I feel like the Coyotes, although I don't think they'll make the playoffs next year, they will the year after. I feel like this team is getting there. And I
Do you
feel
think
like,
who are they giving up though? If you're talking,
yeah, that's the problem. That's the part of me that doesn't want them to trade for Eichel. Because what you're going to give up is pretty much our entire future, and we have no future anyways. So I would expect probably Barrett Hayton to go back the other way, probably Victor Soderstrom, probably Darcy Kemper, probably a first for 2022 because we don't even have one for this year, and probably maybe even Michael Bunting because look, there's players that you could say like, oh, Eichel for Connor Garland. No way.
no. You don't want to give up Garland.
Because first off, the two players that they're not going to give up is Connor Garland and Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller because he has the freaking highest cap hit in the history of cap hits. That's cap. I see what I did there. And Connor Garland is he's that guy. And there's just, look, outside of Garland and Keller, who is there to give up, really? Jacob Chikrin. You don't want to give up one of your blue liners because you're already going to revamp that blue line and make that blue line shut down next season. It's just, and then I've heard conversations of, Eichel to Philadelphia, which I don't want that either. And then I've heard Eichel to Boston. I'm like, what do you give up if you're Boston?
No, if he goes to Boston, we would have to give up Jesus. No, he would ruin the scheme. He would ruin the depth. The amount of guys we would have to give up for him. Oh my God. The Blackhawks, though, just in 3 hours ago, they have entered the Jack Eichel sweepstakes. So the teams that are in the sweepstakes, we have the Kings for sure. Check Puck Empire because they do a lot of things.
Yeah.
They do it's the Kings, the Blackhawks. I would want Seattle. It would be cool to see like Eichel do a little start over in Seattle.
That would be fun, actually, and see how he would,
Because in a later episode we'll talk about the expansion draft for sure when it comes to that. But
exactly.
Eichel going to Seattle would kind of be also a match made in heaven, but I can't see him going anywhere else except the Kings. I can see this doing a Kings jersey. I will see an Instagram post. I can feel it. I will see an Instagram post that will say Jack Eichel to the Kings, and it will have him in that shield. It just looks right too. Is there pull up an image if you can edit it in? It just looks right. But who would they have to give up? I don't effing know. Because the Kings are too old. Too old.
Well, they have a lot of young guys, and I feel like the thing that's going to stop the Kings from getting Eichel is, look, I feel like if they trade for Eichel, Alex Turcotte is going to be involved in that. Their fifth overall pick in 2019. Probably their pick this year in the draft, which I don't know if LA is willing to give up that.
Brendan Lemieux, I would want. He's pretty valuable. The kid's a great fourth liner.
I feel like Cal Peterson, their very young goalie, that could be something Buffalo would want.
Ooh, Peterson's he can do some
Oh, yeah.
things for sure.
And then there's a
But
chance, and I feel like if Buffalo asks for this guy, LA is going to be like, hell no, we're out. Quentin Byfield. I don't think that he goes, but you know what? That could be what it takes. So,
yeah.
although
Well, I mean, they've had him. No, they had him down in where? Ontario. It's the Ontario Kings, right? They had him. I didn't see him play once, or I didn't see him being called up.
he
I don't
played a
know
little
what
bit
was
this
up.
season.
Yeah, he played a little bit this season, but it's like, dude, if you're really gonna keep him down there, like, are you hiding him or are you just embarrassed if he's
I think
performing?
they're trying to grow him. I think that's really what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but the second overall pick, they put Lafreniere. The Rangers put in Lafreniere, and over the time he got into it. So I mean, I don't know what the process is, but the Kings are. I would say they're in the right direction, but if any team, I'm gonna end it off with this. If we are we ending off on this?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through here. I was trying
Alright.
to find like Jack Eichel mock trades, but I can't find them.
What I'm gonna finish off with for my final statement. If you're trading for Jack Eichel, you will have to pay a price. You will have to give up somebody you love. You will have to trade away somebody you love. Or Buffalo's just gonna be like, you know what? We'll just hit the reset button. They're probably gonna go yard sale Deline, Ristolainen, Eichel. They're gonna say like, listen, we need to hit the reset button again. So
I
maybe
think
they'll just
Dahlin's
fill
staying.
in.
I know
Dahlin's-
Reinhardt's going, Ristolainen's going,
I would like one of those two.
Olmark's going probably. Like, who do you have there outside of all those guys? That's like what? Who did I mention? Like 4 guys there. That's like your top 4. Then Dahlin's 5, so Dahlin's going to be the.
They all need new scenes. I would like Deline or Ristolainen to come to Boston or Reinhardt, something like that. I would like a trade for that. I wouldn't mind that, but I mean, wherever Eichel goes, just know you're gonna have to return something, and that's what I'm finishing off on. You.
But yeah, I don't really see it happening. To be honest, I feel like I don't know. I really don't know where he goes, but like I feel like LA is the most viable team. Next up. Wait, what?
Oh, never mind. Just go.
Okay, so next up, the Arizona Coyotes. We discussed with Jack Eichel, and no, Oliver Ekman-Larsson for Jack Eichel is not freaking happening. But although I would love it, it's not freaking happening. So with that being said, the Coyotes are attempting to trade Oliver Ekman-Larsson once again. And it looks like, according to Craig Morgan, who is an insider for the Arizona Coyotes, Oliver Ekman-Larsson might be more open to it. So the last 2 teams that he said he wanted to go to back, I think it was like September or October, were the Vancouver Canucks and the Boston Bruins. And you look at the team's salary cap issues back at the time, that wouldn't have worked. No way. Because OEL has 6 more seasons left on his contract, if I'm correct, and he's getting paid $8 million. So, I mean, I'm sure, Marcus, you're going to want blue liners, and I know we'll discuss this more when we get to the Bruins, but do you see an ideal Ekman-Larsson Bruins trade? I don't see it personally.
Yeah, but it's like, who do we give to them? What do you guys want?
Exactly.
And he's 20. He's 29. He's 29. The Bruins are in win now, for sure. Who I would want here? Let me look at the Coyotes, because the Coyotes have some depth, maybe. I don't know.
Decent depth.
But we do need defensive defensemen. Boston has 31 million in cap space, and Ekman-Larsson at the moment right now is getting paid 8 million. Jesus, guy, take up. Oh God, that contract is huge.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, and look, if there's gonna be a trade with any team, personally, with any team, this is not just the Boston Bruins, with any team, I don't think he's worth any more than a 2nd-round pick.
Really?
To be honest.
Oh, say less. The guy. I mean, his stat line looks all right. His stat line doesn't look too bad. Not too shabby. I'm not saying it's like awesome.
And
but
look, if his money was lower, he probably would be worth a lot. but with the flat cap era, contracts like OELs, that's going to be a hell of a lot harder to move. And I feel like if there is an ideal Bruins trade, I've seen some people that are Coyotes fans say that if he's going to the Bruins, it's Jake DeBrusk going back the other way for OEL
Really?
and maybe a B level, C level prospect. And that's what I think. I believe that a OEL trade, you're not going to get a lot out of him, okay? You really aren't. But you know what? If you clear 8 million and you add to what everyone else who's going, Demers makes 4 mil, the Goligoski makes 4 mil, Hjalmarsson makes 5 mil, Osterley makes 3 mil. You add all that together, you get about $25 million in cap space that's going out of Arizona. You add the 8 million to that, that's about $30 million you have to revamp the blue line, revamp the goaltending, revamp the offense. There's just so much the Arizona Coyotes can do. So much.
That's what I think. I'm
But
looking at contracts and everything. Ekman Larson's making 8 mil. You guys want Jake DeBrusk? Take him. But I would want someone like, I don't know, who the hell? Oh, Garland's an RFA. Never mind.
You're not. I don't think they would. No, I think anyone who's on the no touch list is probably Keller, Dvorak, Bunting, Garland, Chikrin, Labushkin, and Aiden Hill.
Well, you guys have a lot of free agents.
Yeah,
a lot, and a lot of UFAs on the defense for both sides. So I mean, we'll trade you if I were trading to the Arizona Coyotes. We'll take any defenseman. We'll check the free agent market. Looks nice, and I'm in the works of an article about it. Like the free agent market, there's some guys we could grab, but in the event we couldn't grab, like David Savard or Alec Martinez, I would want someone like Ekman Larsson traded to us. We'll take it for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
Ekman Larsson for like John Moore in the second. I don't know. John Moore's a defenseman. We're paying him $2 million a year.
Yeah, my ideal thing is probably Ekman Larsson, for a second and maybe a B level prospect. That's to any team. If it's
you guys
Bruins,
could take DeBrusk.
If it's Bruins, I probably would take DeBrusk. I'd be down for that. In fact, I'd even take Nick Ritchie. If you want to give us Nick Ritchie, we'll take Nick Ritchie.
You don't want Nick Ritchie. I already told you why. Unless he hits the treadmill and loses those freaking cheeks.
Well,
you don't want Nick Ritchie.
We're the Arizona Coyotes. We could use anything at this point. But yeah, that's just what I feel like. Because I mean, hey, if you can get rid of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, if you don't, that's fine. I mean, he's your captain. I mean, he's a solid defenseman, I guess, for that team. But if you can get rid of him, this team can get Hamilton, Jones, Martinez. These guys can get so many people. It's interesting. And I believe that they probably will sign Hjalmarsson. They probably will re-sign Nicholas Hjalmarsson. If there's anyone on that plan I want them to bring back, it's him. Jordan Gross, Osterley, potentially. If they sign Goligoski, I really wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like he's gone. But yeah, that's Coyotes stuff. So are you done with that? I know you know, the Bruins and all that. Yeah. All right. Finally, our final topic before we just talk about the podcast and what's upcoming for it, because we have a lot of plans for this podcast. We have so much stuff planned. I want to just have a little bit of a mini discussion because this podcast is probably getting pretty long right now. It's probably around 40 minutes now. Kirill Kaprizov. There's some people saying like, oh, does he go back to Russia and not to Minnesota? Because he is a RFA who can't get offer sheeted. So he would have.
He can't take an offer.
Yeah. So no team can offer sheet him. So he would have to wait until, and I don't think anyone could trade him either. Or maybe they can. I'm not sure. But so he would have to wait if he wants to go to a different team to, go to a different team. So he would go back to Russia for a year. I don't believe that personally. I feel like Kirill Kaprizov, from the way he spoke to the media, the way he plays with the team, I feel like he just loves Minnesota and wants to be with Minnesota. Now, I feel like from some of the things I've heard, he wants a short-term deal right now. And you know what? I get that. And you're gonna want to hear this because look, you're in the flat cap era, and the league's gonna start making back their money after this season. And sure, they will start making more money as it progresses along, but the cap's not gonna change for probably another year or two. So if he wants to wait and sign kind of a bridge deal, whatever it's called, contract until the league has a higher salary cap and then he can start racking in the cash, that might be how he goes. But I don't believe he goes back to Russia. What do you think?
So you said he likes Minnesota, because I was gonna say, if I thought he was holding out, or I didn't know he couldn't get the money. I didn't know that was possible. So I was gonna say, is there any possible way he can stay for the Wild and play, or no? Is that not possible?
I think if he doesn't get re-signed as an RFA, no, he can't play. If he does get re-signed, he can. If he goes to Russia instead of not getting signed, then yeah, no. But I feel like the Wild want to offer him a longer term deal.
Yeah, because he's like, I would say it's a franchise of the future.
Oh yeah, he's right now he is that piece you want to build around. And
I don't know what you do with him. Maybe you send him back to Russia, see how, just let him chill. Play in Russia, chill out. This is a confusing contract, because Minnesota's been hiding him away in Russia for a while. And then he comes in, and what was his fifth year? Basically his fifth year, right?
Yeah.
As a player.
He was selected in 2015 in like the very far rounds, which I don't want to make fun of Marcus, but by the way, 2015 was a great year for the Bruins, right?
Very funny.
But anyways, I do believe that if anything's gonna happen with Kaprizov, it'll probably be a 3-year contract.
Sure, like small, not too much. If I'm a kid just coming into Minnesota, this is my first year, and maybe by the end of this 3 years, you see where Minnesota's at, test the waters. Maybe, I don't know, but if he has to go back to Russia, if that's what Minnesota has to do, you're probably gonna stink, but it's your future. So right ahead.
If Kaprizov wants to be a good person, which I feel like he is, he does seem like a really cool guy, from things I've seen. He could take a pay cut, which we talked about in the last episode with the Avalanche, and we said like, oh, if they all take pay cuts, they can bring in Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, all those guys. If Kaprizov can take a pay cut here, which I feel like he will, they can bring in more guys, and look at where this team will be at then. I just
goodbye to Dumba.
They have a hella interesting thing to do. They have to re-sign Kevin Fiala. They got to think about Eriksson Ek. They got Greenway they got to deal with. I
don't know how they have 22 million in cap space. Look at these contracts, especially on the defensive end. 7 million for Spurgeon. Well, Spurgeon's all right. Suter, 7 million. 6 million for Brodin. 6 million for Dumba. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Parisi's 7 million. Zuccarello was a good pickup. You're paying all these guys so much money. I don't know how you have the money to do it.
And then look, how. The biggest problem is with this team, they're going to lose someone really good. Because look at this. They have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 no move clauses. You have 2 on the offense. You have 3 on the blue line. 3. And
Parisi and Zuccarello. And then you have Spurgeon, Suter, and Brodin.
Mm-hmm.
Modified no trade clause for Matt Dumba.
That doesn't mean he can't get picked up by Seattle.
Yeah, and also he has 10 teams that he doesn't want to go to. I'm not trying to pick up his contract. If I'm any team, I'm not really trying to pick up his contract. In the Wild games I watched this year, and I watched a few. I watch mostly Bruins games, but I've seen other games and teams. Okay, I have, but I'm not fully knowledge on it. Okay, I don't have that. Dumba's good offensively, but defensively, I don't know. So which teams need offensive defensemen? That's where you trade him. And he's in the trade sweepstakes too. So, I mean, if you're Minnesota, I think you're in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
What?
He has a no trade clause, though. That's the problem.
Modified.
Yeah, modified.
Modified.
So he can, choose what teams he wants to go to. But I don't think he wants to leave Minnesota. And you know what? The fact that he has a big contract, that's a good thing because then you can leave him exposed. And I mean, you don't really have to worry about him getting claimed. And if he does get claimed, is it really a problem if they lose Dumba? Because I mean, look, you have some solid depth guys. And then look, you also have Kalen Addison, who is projected to be a NHL defenseman, a pretty good NHL defenseman in, I think, as soon as next season. So if you lose Dumba alone, hey, you got those guys. And look, you lose $6 million. But I feel like the big problem is with Minnesota, they're going to have goalie problems in the expansion draft. They're going to want to protect Capo Kakkonen. But then you have Cam Talbot, which look what he did in the playoffs. Minnesota, it's a big kerfluffle of interesting things. So any final thoughts on Minnesota?
I just think they're sort of on the right track. I think they're on the right track. If Kaprizov takes a pay cut, I think you're set for the future. If the kid says he loves Minnesota, hockey players normally get loyal. So,
yeah.
Do literally hug him, cater him. What do you need? What do you need? Keep the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure he stays.
That's absolutely. And they got a lot of guys to re-sign. It's going to be interesting, and we'll see more pop up as we progress along. So finally, before we end off this very fun podcast, because I enjoy this all the time, we just want to talk about the upcoming plans for this podcast. Me and Marcus will talk about recording times. We just want to talk about what we have planned coming, because with recording, it might get a little bit harder for me these coming weeks because I'm busy as hell these coming weeks now.
We're always busy, so whenever we can record, that's when we record.
Basically, whenever we can. But we have so much plans. We got draft stuff we can do. We can talk about teams' futures.
Oh, we should go. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about teams' futures for sure. We'll do an episode each, whatever. But we should go live for the Seattle expansion draft. But do a mock draft before and see if we were right.
Mm-hmm. We got mock drafts. In fact, today, this podcast will probably come out tomorrow or tonight.
Depends on how long it takes to download.
Tonight meeting June 21st, tomorrow meeting June 22nd. So, it depends on how long it takes for me to edit this, because this one's longer than the last one. I know that for sure. I'm starting my series today with who the Seattle Kraken can take from each team. So we'll have that coming up, and then we just there's just so much plans, and Marcus is starting to with his TikTok, he's starting to roll with that really hard, and he's also he's gonna start making YouTube videos again, I think, right?
Just whenever we have time to talk, we come here and talk. Easy, simple.
Definitely.
And then we just record and post. Easy and simple. Let's end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We enjoy it. Listen to it while you're doing chores, sleeping. I don't care. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think down in the comments on YouTube. Goodbye.
Yep. Really appreciate y'all watching this. I'll see you guys around. Peace out.